This is Talking Heads, and with me in the studio, Suzanne Young and Paul Nolan from 5G Aware Isle of Man. And they were a little bit nervous about doing a radio programme, and as I mentioned earlier on, once you've done the first couple of minutes, it gets easier, and there's nothing to worry about. So if anybody ever gets an invitation to come on the radio, then do, because it's dead easy. Some comments have come in, which maybe you can respond to. Why risk radiation poisoning just so that we can download a movie faster? There's a lot of wealthy people who have a vested interest in 5G, and it's part of an agenda to micromanage and control society. Frequencies close to 5G being used as a military weapon in the USA. Well, I think a lot of people get confused about the terminology. 5G just means fifth generation, doesn't it? It's not 5 gigahertz, which a lot of existing routers are on 5 gigahertz. So it's not the frequency, is it?
No, and as you rightly say, I mean, sort of 5G from 4G is, say, 4 or 5 gigahertz. When you go up to 5G, you can go up to a factor of 70 gigahertz.
Is it 70 gigahertz?
So,
okay.
and more depending on where you're at. So it is a step change.
According to this military weapon in the USA, they can initiate aggression or subdue with a simple change of frequency. Plenty of evidence online. Why risk it? Tin hat maybe, but it's isn't it wise to seriously investigate? Says John.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you want. You just want people to look at it, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's more the extreme view, right? For us,
Sure.
it's just about raising awareness to it, right? We're a 5G awareness group.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
All right, another one. 5G is not only potentially dangerous to health, but to the environment as well. Due to its short, powerful frequencies, trees will have to be cut back or removed. New masts will replace them. This is largely unessential and unwanted. Many countries have refused 5G due to health concerns, so why are we willing to risk it? Why not wait and see what happens to other test subjects? Wouldn't this be wise? Cancers will increase with this frequency. Thanks from Pete.
Mm. And yet again, it's what we're pushing is funny enough, is Manx telecom fibre optic cables, which is part of their strategy.
But you did say earlier on that part of this isn't just faster downloads of films; it's things like self-driving cars. So the fibre side of it won't work for that, will it?
Yeah,
it needs to be a wireless frequency.
I suppose in some respects the Isle of Man has got to make choices.
Yeah,
in terms of where it puts people's health and research over and above driving technology through.
Stu, thinking of a playlist to support 5G discussion, how about Call Me or Hanging on the Telephone by Blondie?
Good idea.
Right, okay. People seem to think that I would, be cheap and just play themed music. Our island's government, these so-called inspectorates are not to be trusted or believed. They're mostly stupid, greedy people who don't give a toss about future generations. They don't care. It's all about money, not health, says Crystal. Well, that's a bit of an extreme view. I don't believe for a second that our politicians and our business leaders are all just in it for the money and they don't care about public health. But maybe we ought to know more about this because it is a potentially dangerous technology.
True, and also we're willing to engage them in debate because this is quite a complex issue. It deals with the physics of electromagnetic rays as well as everything else. Now, we're proposing at the end of September to actually bring over 2 or 3 experts on this.
Yes.
Yeah? So we can have a more informed debate, right? Because if you stand too far away from this, right, you're not going to become informed.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we want to encourage, and we will be inviting government officials to it.
Well, Suzanne, what sort of conversations have you had with government or with officialdom so far? Has it been friendly and constructive?
We've approached it in different ways. People have been writing to their individual MHKs, and you can get a bit of a dialogue back if it's your MHK. When we've sent emails out en masse to all MHKs and all MLCs, we get out of office replies back. That's it. And we don't get many replies back that way.
Yeah.
Public health, just keep referring back to ICNIRP and World Health Organization, and they don't listen to our concerns about those guidelines being used. And the National Telecommunications Strategy, so government working in conjunction with a telecoms company, it reads like a business manual.
Yes.
It's very ambitious, and there's no mention of safety in that strategy. So they are pushing on.
All right, stick your headphones on because I see that we've got one of our regulars who wants to have a word about this and might well have a question. It's Delivery Man Dodsey. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Mucker.
Yep, you're live on air, so go ahead.
Yeah, you've got those two guys there worried about 5G.
Yep.
How come there's no worry about 4G and 3G and all the other mobile phone technologies then?
All right, well, Paul can answer that.
Who's that, say?
This is Kevin.
Good
Hello,
afternoon,
mate.
good afternoon, Kevin. Well, if you look on our website, Kevin, we do cover that as well.
Okay.
Right, there are concerns about it, and particularly in schools.
So is the concern that the higher the frequency of the signal, the more damaging it potentially is? I mean, we're talking about microwaves, really, aren't we?
Well, funny enough, the research actually has happened at both ends. Even at low frequencies, never mind high frequencies, there's exposure, right?
Okay.
And within a lot of schools, right, it's picking up in schools in Europe, and Canada and the US, they're now going down the route of hard cabling.
Right.
Yeah. So which
Okay.
fits in with what we talked about with Max Telecom.
All right, Suzanne.
And with 3G and 4G, you do have a choice. You can switch off your router. I can choose not to have a smart gadget in my child's lap.
Yeah.
With 5G, we're not going to have that choice. It's going to be crisscrossing beams following us around 24/7.
And lots of little transmitters everywhere,
Yeah,
so you know,
yeah.
you can't really escape from them. Does that answer your question, Kevin?
Well, am I wrong to say then that the 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz frequencies that are in routers aren't dangerous then?
Could be, I suppose.
I mean, there's electromagnetic frequencies coming off that. When it says 5G on your router, it's 5 gigahertz, not fifth generation.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fifth generation frequencies I've been told are somewhere around about 90 gigahertz.
Yeah.
So I can understand there's quite a lot of difference between 5 gigahertz and 90 gigahertz. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
with this 5G technology, I mean, if it is dangerous, how come they are implementing it in the UK regardless of all this, without any debate and such?
All right, well,
It's
that's a
only
good
just a
question.
worry over here for us.
One of our speakers we will have over at the end of September, hopefully, is from the UK. And she will actually cover where within the UK there are both in respect of there's legal claims actually happening there at the moment, starting to happen, and also you would have seen in about 3 or 4 cities already the local councils have actually sort of turned down the implementation of 5G under the precautionary principle until more research is done on it.
Yeah.
So it's happening in pockets. But I'll say this to you, right? UK is probably, throughout Europe, is probably one of the worst areas at the moment, taking this on board.
Yeah. Well, I've thought for a while that nowadays, I mean, over the last 50 years, there has been such an incredible increase in the amount of radio frequencies. Just sitting in this studio now, everything is wireless, and so we're being bombarded. We're being microwaved as humans, aren't we, constantly? Even now. So the thought of any more of them, especially at a very high frequency, is a concern.
I did think that when I came in, the big mast outside as well. You're
big mast
surrounded by
outside,
it, yeah.
and lots of the technology, things that used to be run from a cable are now wireless, and mobile phones and tablets and computers. We're just being bombarded constantly, aren't we, by radio waves?
A lot of people are going back now to wiring in, going back to a wired mouse, a wired keyboard. Get rid of the deck phones, the wireless walk around the house phones.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the lines. Thanks for your call, Kevin. Need to move on. Line 2, you're live on Talking Heads.
Hi there.
Yeah.
I've been following this for over 2 years now, and I've done all my own research. And there's some serious credited scientists out there, and they're not making this up. There is something to it. This stuff's dangerous. There's not enough research done. And what alarms me most is how telecoms and government are going about rolling this out here. I've been looking at the various newspaper articles. Basically, they first wanted to erect a new tower in Ramsey, which will support 5G. A lot of objections went in for that on health terms, and were absolutely dismissed. Not one of them was looked at. So then, basically now they've got this telecommunications development order in which they want to basically have permission, planning permission, without having to go through the usual processes which people can object to, which then would take longer for them to install anything. This is going to give them a license to kill, basically. I mean, they'll be able to put small antenna up outside your windows. They'll be able to install their 5G, and we don't have any option to get away from it. And, the when we've been told in the newspaper articles that for now, the frequencies won't be in the higher range. They'll be using existing frequencies in what's called the sub-6 gigahertz range. But of course, as demand will come, they're going to just switch up these frequencies to whatever they like. I know that Verizon in the States are proposing to use 28 and 39 gigahertz for their 5G.
Right.
The whole thing's scary. There's not enough research. And the other thing is demand. Who's demanding 5G? We're not demanding it. There might be the odd punter out there that wants a faster movie download. We'll go home and download it. Do you need to be on the street or in the, wherever downloading it? Do you?
I suppose. I suppose that the
autonomous
manufacturers
cars
would say that this is consumer driven. That everybody wants a faster
But
phone.
it's
or
not.
whatever.
But it's not consumer driven.
Right.
They're putting this on us. Nobody's asking for it. They're bringing it out so that we hopefully will use it. And of course we're going to use it because it apparently makes our life easier. Each new smart device, I mean, it's ridiculous. How easy do they want life to be? Soon we're not even going to have to leave the house.
Well, that sounds a good idea to me. So, I mean, the thing that I like about your stance on this, Suzanne and Paul, is that you're not saying, you're not scaremongering, you're not saying that we're all going to die within 12 months with this. What you're saying is that you would like government to take concerns seriously and just make sure that this is safe rather than presume it's safe. Is that a fair summation of your position on this?
Yeah. The guidelines that they refer to, the ICNIRP guidelines, so that's the safe level of exposure that we can get from these masts.
Yeah.
It's so huge what ICNIRP permits that they've even stopped testing the existing masts on the Isle of Man. The last testing was done in 2009 because we're already just operating at a fraction of what is permitted.
Right.
Now we're going to be exposed long term to these frequencies. New guidelines definitely need to be looked into, and to keep getting told by public health it's okay.
Yeah.
Sure, or Telecom can write their own certificates to say that they comply with ICNIRP. It's just not satisfactory enough when it's people's health that's in jeopardy.
All right, or potentially in jeopardy.
And the other point to add to that, Stu, is that it seems here that the Isle of Man government, its reference point is into the UK. Right? Always. This is an independent island, right? It can make an independent view on things, right? And in some respects, right, maybe, just maybe, by us applying the precautionary principle and waiting a few years, maybe this will be one of the safer places to come in years to come.
Like I said in the introduction, there are quite a few jurisdictions, or I mean, you were saying that certain towns, I think in the UK, certain areas of the UK have said no, we're not having this. But I think there are countries as well, aren't there, around the world that have just said no, not until we know it's safe. We're not prepared to allow you to do it.
And the issue you have is that there's not enough informed people on this, like your caller there, right? Who'll spend their time, because everybody's busy. But we have, as I said earlier, right, try to make it easier for people to go to actually one website and look through all the different items on it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the lines. Line 1, you're on Talking Heads. Go ahead. Okay, and that's somebody who doesn't want to talk live on air. I do make it very clear not to phone in unless you're prepared to chat. Text, our Director of Public Health has got to have a vested interest in promoting 5G. No, not necessarily.
No.
She's paid to promote what the agenda wants. There's no real way to know, and only time will tell. Using microwave ovens, for example, we can clearly see that bowel cancers have grown exponentially. Same with brain cancers. Mobile phones can be seen. This is kept quiet, but we don't notice these health issues because it happens slowly and incrementally. Okay.
But just to add that, Stu, but there is a vested interest in this for government. So Manx utilities are already planning in the next 2 years to roll out smart meters. Yeah, so there's certain technology lining up behind us, certain plans already in place. So that's why I say we're quite late to the game here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's that? Birthday list for later. Is it true that no safety testing has ever been done on 5G? If it'll be switched on all the time outside our homes, we can't choose whether to have it or not. Surely it's an experiment. Shouldn't we have been asked for our consent? Isn't this against the Nuremberg Code?
Absolutely, they are experimenting on us. The telecommunications strategy, which I keep going on about, they say they want early tests. They want it to be trialled on us.
Yeah.
we are being experimented on, and that does break that Nuremberg Code from 1947.
Wow, okay. I used to work in the telecom industry. I had above average but not massive mobile phone usage. I had to leave the job on health grounds. Now can't be around mobiles or Wi-Fi without feeling ill with headaches. My brain starting to shut down with Alzheimer's-like symptoms, which can last hours or sometimes days. The effects of RF radiation are cumulative. Thanks for raising awareness so others can learn to protect themselves and our island. Good. My phone, which I hold next to my head, pumps out power to find a non-existing signal in a large estate at the top of Douglas. I'd much rather a low-powered 5G signal that my phone can find easily. It's not the frequency of the antenna that's the problem, it's the power of the antenna pumping out.
That gentleman is a gentleman. Yeah, they should have read their phone handbook, because you must never put your phone next to your head. It's in the handbook. If you go into your legal bit on your phone,
How are you supposed to take a phone call?
you hold it on a 15-degree angle. You must.
I hate people who do that.
But
People
that's,
that hold
you
the phones in
shouldn't.
front of
The
them.
telecom booklets, not the booklet, but the user instructions say it's dangerous. The telecoms companies know that putting a phone next to your head is dangerous.
Wow.
So it's in their liability, in their disclaimer.
Right.
Also, you shouldn't hold it in your pocket or anywhere next to your skin, and people do.
The things that we all do,
Exactly.
you're not supposed to do.
But these
Yeah.
liabilities, the disclaimers are already on their handbook, so they know it's dangerous.
Okay.
And to add to that, Stu, in the US at a federal level, they've issued health warnings in terms of phones. Yeah, I think the same thing probably is in the UK as well.
Right, okay. If the government really cared about the health of future generations, the HPV vaccination would be investigated too, just like 5G. Our government is in one of these things that's is listening to the WHO, etc., and it's the fact that the experts have a vested, i.e., financial interest. Good, okay. I mean, we could go on about this for the rest of the afternoon, I'm sure, but I'm out of time, sadly, so I can't. But thank you very much for coming in. If people want to look at your website, it's 5gawareiom.org, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
And that's a site where you're putting together as much information as you can.
Yeah, we've got a newsletter as well, so if they subscribe to the email newsletter, we'll keep them up to date with things that are happening. We're trying to get this big public consultation organised for the end of September.
Yeah.
And also we have a Facebook page, 5G Aware.
I've seen the Facebook thing. I
Yeah.
think that's how we got in touch originally, the Facebook thing, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
and it is a page. It's not a discussion group. It's a page where we just post scientific. We research the articles to make sure it's factual.
Yeah.
People can comment under the post, but it's not a page where you can add your own. The members of the public can't add their own posts.
So going forward, that's the next step. Then you want a meeting at the end of September, where and this is where you're going to bring experts over, is it?
Yeah. Well, the next step is the consultation, government consultation planning, which is due in on the 4th of August.
Right.
And we cover that on our website, yeah. And we also cover that then we've got this week's Courier, page 6. Gives all references to the website and everything else.
Brilliant. All right. For now, Suzanne Young, Paul Nolan, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Stu.
Thank you.